Where would I go to be able to re-listen to last night's Next Gen Merchants video?
I'm going to be posting. That was a good one. I'm going to be posting it on YouTube and I'm going to share it with Sam and Arm because it had a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
Language, markets. We talked about the law a little bit. Intention, the currency of intent. One of the biggest. It's probably the thing that I've been the thing that I've had the most difficulty in sharing,
How
being
come?
able to convey the value of it, right? Once you see that that's the value it is that we are to be exchanging here, that the quality of our being dictates the quality of our intent.
Mm. Mm.
That principle is something that I've had a difficult time in being able to express. So thank you for being a part of that.
You're welcome. You said the quality of our being is.
The quality of our being dictates the quality of our intent. Hello, Ian. Oh, I can see. I gotta just do a quick little polish on the lens here. There we go.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right.
And looks like I'm going to need to get Spotify to be able to listen to podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't find what I found online for YouTube for Dr. Melissa Sells is extremely limited.
Oh,
Because I was hoping to read through the transcript of today's listening, and I can't get it.
oh.
Unless, of course, you'd be willing to get the family thing again, and I'll pay you half.
Yeah, let's discuss that. That sounds like a good idea, though. And then we've just got that, and then it's handled.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm actually doing some adjustments to my chalkboard because the thing is whacked. But I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to get on to market analysis. That's what I was working on when I was, because the chalkboard it's wonky, and so there's a mouse where I'm drawing, and then there's a halo around another mouse like another inch away, and I want to make that go away. Oh yeah.
I would find that very confusing as to which halo I ought to be paying attention to.
It is annoying. It is annoying. Okay. Now I can grab Brave, Fade, and away we go. All right. So in markets, we've talked a lot over the last couple of weeks, especially in regards to the A, B, C, D movements, the up and down, the oscillation, and how we know that we can look at the market structure and see this is a low in the entire scheme of things. And so being a low, we know that this is an A. That's point A on the price action. And then we can see that there's a point B where it creates a whole new high. It's been a while since it was that high. So that would be point B. Going back down again, we see that we can form another low, and that becomes point C. And then extending upwards above the previous high, we have D. This principle also can conjoin with the principle that we follow when we're looking at, say, the Ethereum chart, where we have these pivot lines, where we can see that the price likes to pivot around that area. You know, look at that yellow line right there. That yellow line gets pivoted. Now, zooming into this area here, you can see that that yellow line gets pivoted with the price action. That we see a lot of price action in that area, and it goes back and forth. So that principle can actually be applied to trends. So sometimes you'll see me mark trends where, you know, we're just going from one low to the next low and just cutting an intersection through that and getting an idea of that average direction of the market. Well, then, you know, there's a top end of it as well, where it seems like that's the range in which it pivots, and there's the line in there, it starts to pivot again. It's just higher the next time. But that line ends up becoming resistance. Then there's usually one in the middle that can become either resistance or support. Who knows? Yes, it's consolidating because by the rules that we follow, the highs and the lows aren't really getting that much different. We had this little spike here. This is on the silver chart again. But that consolidation occurs, and that's not a big issue. But eventually it hits another line, and that becomes the support. So it's fascinating to see how these patterns that we identify can correlate both across time, like a long period of time, or in a trend itself. Any questions about that? Okay, now what we're going to do is that we're going to zoom in. We're going to be analyzing how the market is moving as silver prices are bumping up against this all-time high. And I'm going to make it as super simple as possible. This is a technical analysis, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible. This is a 5-minute chart. Now we can zoom out. We see a very high definition of the past, well, since Sunday. So this price action now, we are zooming in to when we came to that all-time high. Right in here. And we're going to look at how these bars are constructed. In the period of time that one of these bars was formed, it only took 5 minutes. Usually when we're looking at the chart, we're seeing one of these bars and it's according to the day, the price action of the day. But now we are looking at the price action of every 5 minutes. And what do we see? What do we see within this pattern here? Does anybody see anything? This is called naked chart reading, where we're not drawing lines, we're simply looking at the patterns. Do we notice anything?
The area around where the word silver is
Yep.
is very similar to itself.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
SIL and the VER are, if you just move them together,
Yeah.
they would almost match.
This section here looks almost identical to this section here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep. I agree. Good one. What's another thing that's great? That's exactly true. There are
What's the
lots other
cause of that?
The cause of that?
I mean, it's almost like an orchestration of some kind.
Yeah.
No, don't say that, Ian. That's so conspiratorial.
Almost.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how the market can do that, given that it's a free market. In the general scope of things.
Well,
particularly on the 5-minute chart. You're on the 5-minute chart for.
Yeah. This, my friend, is exactly how these CFDs make so much money. These paper contracts on silver make so much money. It's not a free market at all.
Okay.
This is entirely the bank's reaction to our emotion.
Okay.
So, yes, that's the big scope of things. Now, there is a pattern though. When it goes up, when it falls like this, that's the impulse, right? Because we're making a longer movement downwards. So that's the impulse. Then we have the retracement. And then that retracement only goes so high. And then we have another impulse. And then it only goes so high again. And then we have another impulse. Oh, this one didn't go as low. But that is a leading indicator that we have a reversal. And sure enough, we are creating a new high, higher than the previous high. And so now we have a potential reversal. It goes up again. It doesn't beat out that previous high. See how it, like, I've been talking about the daily chart this whole time, and people are like, yeah, I don't really want to learn how to do trading. I would just want to learn how to do scalping. You got to know how to do it on the daily first, because the patterns are the same. The patterns are all the same. We are simply witnessing the playing out of emotions, and we can plan for what emotions are coming next. Like, obviously, what's happening right now emotionally, look at what happened yesterday when we were on Next Gen Merchants. The very first thing that we talked about was how silver jumped up, and what was the first reaction? I mean, I'm the same way. Don't get me wrong, I'm the same way. But Carolyn, she's going like this in the background, right? Because that's the emotion of this movement. And so now it's entirely possible that that we would see these contracts get flooded. They know it's already a scam. They're already paying their daily $1 million in fines for running the scam because it's illegal. But it's just a cost of doing business to these guys. They could very well see how many people are lined up to buy silver and watch as the volumes increase, the price goes down. Because what they're doing is that they're selling it faster than it can be brought out of the earth, to the tune of 300 times. So they have the capacity of putting false transactions onto the market and
But you're
adjusting it the opposite direction.
You're talking about paper contracts, though.
Yep.
Does this also affect the physical in-hand product or relate to it?
The physical product itself is not in harm's way because it's a real tangible asset that if you don't want to use it for a coin, you can make medical equipment with it. You know, like if you don't want to use it for either of that, you can run your electronics with it. So it has that real world tangible value that it doesn't matter what form it's in, it can be utilized for the betterment of humanity. The paper contracts is just a Ponzi scheme that's gotten away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why they don't like people who print money, because it's competition. So what I wanted to talk, let's go back into that 5-minute chart. When we're analyzing what's happening, we are looking for the same types of emotional patterns at the micro level, because here is where the day traders love to play. This is where they absolutely love to play, because look at this price action here. This price action was 3%. 3%. That was in 8 hours. 3% in 8 hours. That is very attractive. You put in $1,000 and you just made $30 in a day passively. All you had to do was sell here and buy here. But how do you recognize what it is? Well, we bring other elements. Remember how we've talked about pivot points and trends? How the trends, they could have pivot points within them. The same thing is occurring here. That's another similarity is that if I was to spend the time, I could go ahead. Well, you know what? I'll do it right now. Pivot point. Another pivot point right there.
Can you point out what's identifying those pivot points for you, please?
Absolutely. Pivot points are defined as price levels where the price pivots, where the price action pivots. And for whatever reason, these lines get formed in patterns. There's another one here. There's another one. So I can just keep on adding them. And then these pivot points, they're incredibly accurate. Look at. This is days later on the 5-minute chart. Those pivot points are targets. See, whenever the price pivots, it's where the bulls and the bears reach a point where the other side begins to win. That's all that creates a pivot point. It's just when the two opposing forces are no longer tying. That's all it is. And it goes the other direction. And those points are marked. They are marked for growth percentages. Like I said, that 3% right here, like, where was that? Whoop, scrolled over. Look at this. This was what it was here, yeah. So a good scalper in 6 hours will get about 3%.
If he was leveraged, he could have got a lot more.
100%, absolutely. So how does this work? Well, it's going up here. And what happens is that the emotionality of people gets up there. Look at how fast it went up like that. Whenever we see higher volatility, we can expect more disruption. And so, the average range of each of those 5 minutes was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then what happened? It tried again. The bulls tried again, and they just couldn't make the fight. And they lost. And the bears began to take over. Well, this here got a lot of people excited. A lot of people excited. And what happened was that more and more people bought here. Because they bought here, the institutions, this was when? 11:40 in the morning on December 1st. So, volumes come in for the day, right? Here's market opening. This is market open right here. That's market open, 7:30 our time. So volume came in, and right out of the gate within the first hour, big push created a whole new high. Technical traders are excited because we beat the previous high. That's a potential trend. Come down, we find C. Everybody gets excited because now this is a nice deep retracement. We can probably expect a beautiful extension to go up to the next pivot point. So then they mark their pivot. What happened in the past? And then they go and find it. It's a while ago. Oh, no. This is all-time high. Sorry, folks. This is all-time high. They see all-time high. They all get excited. What happens? A bunch more people buy in. This is now, where is this? Midday? 10:45. 10:40 in the morning. This is like the day in the life of a day trader. 10:40 in the morning, and we're seeing all this growth, brand new highs. That means silver's going up. And look at how it's been outperforming gold lately, right? Just go into the history and you can see in the long-term trend on the 5-minute chart, we have every reason to be hitting up another all-time high because we just eked out about the last one. This is what's going on inside their heads. This is how they look at the markets. So then what do? price comes down. Oh, right on, awesome. Let's go ahead and buy now while we can. What happens? It goes down all day long. So the best traders are going to be like me, who recognize that this right here is called a bull trap. It's a brand new high. Yeah, you're right. Brand new high. We'd never been that high before. Not when it happened. Now it's, of course, higher. But this tells a technical trader to look for a D extension. When I see a brand new high on the scalpers table, no. Brand new highs are always bounced off of. The only time we see skyrockets are when we've got crashes. So on the 5-minute chart, I'm going to be waiting for that retracement. When things are going crazy like this and we're creating new highs, I am not going in. I am not being a part. I am, even if my mindset is strong, I am not going to be coming in, putting my transactions at the same time as all the greedy people. I'm going to wait. And in fact, when this occurred, I probably would have done a short if I was scalping. And I probably would have made that 3%. Because when this happens and we have the next high especially not being able to rise up and challenge that previous high right away, I would double the position right here. That's at just after noon. And I will go ahead and have a coffee and a cigarette and watch money come into my account within 40 minutes. When the price comes back up again, oh, look at that. It's at a pivot point. It's a good thing I've had a pending order here. So the 5-minute chart, it's going down. Well, it's reaching this pivot point. I'm not going to make the mistake that everybody else says. I don't want to chase the market. I want the market to come to me. So what do? I set a pending order for that previous pivot point. And then as we start to trend, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for the pivot point between the trend marks so that I get an idea of where else I can grab another trade. Show you that magic. As it starts to trend. Now, so this is the reversal. That is technically not the start of the trend because this is all consolidation. So this is technically the start of the next trend because we create a lower low. A, B, C, D. Actually, no, this is A here. B, C. That now is our confirmation. It's potential until this. This is that confirmation. Okay, reversal coming in. Then I wouldn't come in at this point. I would wait until I got closer to a pivot point. And I wouldn't wait really. I would just, as the price goes down and as it starts to get close to this pivot point here, I'm just going to go ahead and put a pending order for there. Let the market bounce back to me. Now, if we keep on going, that's fine. I'm just going to move down my pivot point. But I am not going to chase the market. I'm going to let the market come to me. So this bounce up here, great. This is where I would have doubled. So already here with this high not coming into play, I would have said, okay, now it's time to trade. So I would have watched all day long and not taken a single trade. Why? Because this is what I was looking for. I was looking for a confirmation of a retracement. In fact, look at where the previous high was. In silver, this was the previous high before Friday. So I'm thinking to myself, if the price is going up this high, we're going to be retracing. We could very well retrace back to this pivot point because that's how the market works. These are very, very important lines. They are for institutional traders only. And I have no idea how they pick them. All I know is that we can start to see them after a period of time. And sure enough, look at how the previous high ended up providing support while that line continued to drop. So
Now, how do you say that these are for institutional traders only? Like
because they're called market makers.
the institutional traders are called that.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking about you pointing something out on the graph that says that is for institutional makers, institutional traders only.
Correct.
What is for institutional traders only?
Those lines, we don't have power over where those lines occur.
The pivot points?
That's right.
So you're saying that they actually create the pivot points?
Yes. Yes. They're called the term that we use for the institutional traders, the ones who have the liquidity to move the market. We call them market makers because they
Yep.
make these pivot points.
Yeah, that part I understand. I remember watching some forex transactions once when somebody puts in the order, and then the market maker triggers it,
Yes.
triggers the order, and you could actually see where you could actually watch the activity of the market maker.
Yes.
You know, he takes the order and enters it into the system, and effected the order.
Yep.
There's that. There's a book I think I've told you about called the Flash Boys.
Yes, indeed.
That talks quite significantly about market makers, but
The ones who push the button.
yeah, the ones who interfere as well.
Yep.
That's really what that book was about, is interference and the even high level. I mean, the guy that the book is about was a high level trader for the Royal Bank of Canada
Right.
in New York City, and his trades were being interfered with by even higher level traders than he was, much higher
Yep.
level.
Yep. Yep. So when we know it, it no longer, like for me, it's like, yep, the manipulation's there. I don't
Okay.
actually care whether or not they fix it because
Huh.
now it's like, okay, well, if they're just going to manipulate it, then I'm just going to trade along with them. As I can read their manipulation. Why? Because it's all just their reaction to our emotions that dictate where they place their positions. We're predictable sheep.
Hey, Paul,
Hey.
CFDs on silver. That's what I
Yes.
got showing. Tell me,
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm late, but I missed what that is.
Oh, these are the paper contracts that are sold on the stock market.
What
And
does
so-
CFD stand for?
What is that financial instrument? Good question. Stands for, yes, contracts for
Oh,
difference.
Yeah, I should have known that.
So should have I.
Yeah.
I traded them enough. Yeah, so that's what, this is what those are. This is just the paper contracts that are being sold at, and they dictate the spot prices because they're technically on the market. But the reason why, I mean, think about it this way. We were just looking at this, this was last night, I think. Like, we're at these all-time highs, right? Like, we've never been this high before. But guess what? In 1980, it was that's a $49. 48. Peaked out at $48 back in 1980. And we're just now just a little bit above that, really. I mean, yeah, we're above it. But it's funny because if inflation was, if this was at its real value due to inflation, it would be a lot more expensive, wouldn't it? So all of this here, this was all done through manipulation of the markets. This range, this is huge. Like, people who bought at that level, they lost 92% of their value buying silver. Silver lost 92% of its value. That doesn't happen. The only way that it can is if the numbers are defrauded. This is you take probability curves and you get a sigma, you get a measurement of the probability of something occurring. This probability, this is impossible. You can't have this occur naturally. It gets to the point where it's outside the probability curve of being an accident or coincidence or anything like that. This is a deliberate assault on the free market.
Paul, what year is that? 1980, did you say? 80?
Yeah. In 1980, that was the all-time high. Again, even in 2011, when I bought.
Yeah.
I bought here, never thinking that we were going to be going down. I thought the Great Reset was literally in 2012 because everybody was talking about the Mayan calendar, 2012, all that good stuff. So I thought that was where the reset was, that we were going to be going into this digital utopia, dystopia. And
I immediately thought of the movie 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I remember Harold Camping too. Remember, some of the people were going on about Harold Camping, and I was already well enough aware that there were lines to be drawn. But anyway, what's that?
What is the history of, say, silver in the 20 years since 1960? Can you show me that? I just would be interested in seeing what's going on there.
Okay. Well, here it is from, I can't go down. Oh yeah, there's 1960. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, that's the weekly chart. I can't even fit it on the screen. Hang on, I got to move this over. Now we can get a full screen. Can we? Can we get a full screen? Oh, nope, not quite. Because I need the full screen. Entire screen. And there we go. So this is going back to 1800. The most I can do, I can fit there. That's the whole chart that I can fit. It goes to 1924. So 1924 is here. Look at how much silver hasn't gone up since the Federal Reserve was printing their bullshit.
You're muted, Maureen. Maureen, you're muted.
Thank you. What year is that? The first one that we can see over there?
1924, my dear.
1924. And what is the price of silver there?
Price of silver is 65 cents an ounce.
My
65.
chart goes back to 1802.
I can probably get. That's that. You must have a bigger screen than me because I am now zoomed out on the weekly chart as far as I can go. You know what? Let's try the monthly. I haven't gone to that one in a long time. Sure enough, look at that. You're right. 1802.
Wow.
That's the first price of silver, and it was around 50 cents or something.
Actually, what
$1.
do you have? I got $1.29.
Wow. And then let me see. Here's 48, 54. And 72, what happened to it? Then it started to rise when it was
Yeah, here's
72. What isn't that one?
This is September
72?
71.
Oh,
October
71.
71. Here's what it had to have been in this area here where they depegged, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
And what was the cost then? What was the price of silver then?
$1.82.
Not too much different than in 1953 or 2036. What is that? It's not. Yeah, it's pretty stable. Well, a little bit of a rise.
I'm not sure if it wasn't just the Nixon taking the dollar off the gold standard. You're in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This.
Well, in Canada, in 1972, Pierre Trudeau, Prime Minister, made the Bank of Canada a member of the Bank of International Settlements. And from that point on, not only did debt increase in Canada, like hockey sticked, Um, and up until that point, for decades, we had funded the war, we had funded infrastructure, hospitals, and universities. And then he made, and that's because all the debts could be loaned out by the by the Canadian Central Bank, which we have a true central bank compared to the Federal Reserve. Um, but when
Yeah.
he made it a member of the Bank of International Settlements, those loans could no longer be made
Oh,
by the Central Bank of Canada to the federal, provincial, and municipal governments. They had to be made by central banks. So now they have private loans instead of public loans, and that's what
that's
screwed Canada. But it also reflects back on the price of silver and gold. Um, I remember gold going from $30 an ounce to 800 in the 70s. That was crazy.
yes, I remember that too. I remember it.
That was
I
crazy.
had jeweler friends. Yeah.
But silver did far better than gold did. I mean, silver went from, what was it, $1.50 in 72 all the way up to $48 by 1980, 79. That's a 3,000% increase. Gold never did that at all. That didn't come close to that.
Wild. So yeah, this is the. I mean, I can now say yes, we're here for the Great Reset, only because they actually outright said it with the same words. So we're here, and it's exciting. And I also think that we will have the potential from a technical analysis perspective. We have to remember. Oh, let me go back to this here real quick, and then I'll let you come back in, Maureen. This here, that's the previous high. Let's zoom in. What do we know about previous highs? They usually become pivot points. So it's entirely possible that we will still come back to test this range. That's why I marked this. This range here is the range of the previous highs. So we got to be mindful of that. If it were to occur, that would certainly be something like what we saw in COVID, because that's 15% drop if we come back to test that old high. Entirely possible. Entirely possible. Dollar cost average, obviously none of this is trading advice nor financial advice or any of that nonsense. This is just everything that I've been watching occur. And when, just to give you an idea of how I learned how to trade, was I traded paper trading, scalping the 1 minute chart for 2 years to practice. I kind of get an idea. Once you reach a certain amount of time doing it, you do get to the point where you can kind of see how the market breathes. And I'm simply more accurate on 4-hour and daily charts because I can see more, so that I can notice the pattern more obviously within those realms. Once you zoom in and you get into that 5-minute zone, especially the 5-minute zone, even 15-minute, especially in cryptos, that's difficult. I look forward to the challenge of being able to scalp that accurately. But that once you get down into these smaller time frames, you have more erratic patterns where you have to have a little bit more, give yourself more breathing room. For example, look at how this was a low and this was a lower low, but this high here literally just beat out the previous high, and that previous low beat out that low. So here, this is an anomaly that occurs, and you have to take that into account. That this is a false signal. False signals on the zoom in. When you zoom in on that bigger time frame, those false signals happen a lot more. And so what I would do is that I would say, okay, great, awesome. We got this low here. We came up. We didn't really get above that. In my head, I'm thinking to myself, this is a fake out just because I watched it happen enough times. But what I would do is that here, when it starts to come back down again, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's going to be some momentum. I don't want to be too late. I'm going to go ahead and buy right now. Sell right now. I'm going to sell. And then when the price goes up, but I'm only going to sell 25% of my position. Not the whole thing, just 25%. That way, if the price does go up and we end up creating a new high, I'm not going to lose everything. I'm just going to lose a little bit, and then I cut off my losses and we figure it out from there. Or I wait until the price comes back down and I cut those losses at a better price.
What is it? What are we looking at, Paul?
This is still the silver chart.
Oh, the silver. Oh, okay. I couldn't see the.
And so yeah, with this movement now, I can see, oh, we're actually having a difficult time against this previous pivot point. In fact, we just barely touched it, and then we couldn't get it again. That's where I would go ahead and sell some more. I sold 25% here because of this pivot point. But then we're above this pivot point now, and we're not getting above the next one. I would go ahead and sell 50% more. So now I'm taking a heavier position here because I can see now we're probably not going to make it above it. If we were to make it above it, we would have shot above and then had this little zigzag. We would have had that zigzag above that pivot line, but we were having the zigzag below it. So that tells me we're not going to make it. So I would double my position. So I risked 25% here. I'm going to go ahead and risk 50% here. And sure enough, I form a new low. That scalp right there, that's 2% in 40 minutes. Just letting the market come to me. I'm going to go ahead and take it, don't worry. And if it goes straight down, that's not a problem. I'll be coming back again with another little trade, following suit once we reach this, because this is the next pivot point, right? Once this goes down, I'm going to go ahead and close those positions, and my pending trade is now going to be the previous pivot point. And sure enough, who knows where we'll end up today. It's hard to say. We did spend a pretty good amount of time above this pivot point, but now we're really pressing downwards against it. So for me, I wouldn't make a decision right now. I would, however, put a little trade up here, up against this pivot point to sell. Why? Because we just created a new low. Although this is the low all the way back from here.
So you don't know whether it's going to jump up from there either, eh?
Nope.
Like if you go right above the V on Victor or silver,
Yep.
there's a low right there. All of a sudden, kind of the same situation that you've got back over right today. There's that low on the left side of the V.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got the higher low on the right side of the V. You go back to today.
Yep.
It could go way up. Where did you say to put your next sell at the next pivot point?
Yeah, I would probably put my
Right there?
sell here. Yeah.
Okay. So if you'd have done that back over, now it's over the L.
Right here.
At the bottom of that.
This one here.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the equivalent to today's scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You would have done your sell probably up at the top there, straight above the E.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, because this would have been that second push up against that
And
all-time
next
high.
pivot point. Yeah.
This was the all-time high. And then especially when we didn't stay above that and we dropped this far, oh yeah, that's a new low. Look, that's a whole new low. I know now that I can place a sell at this position. Look at that. Look at that. What do we see here? What do you see? I see it. Triple top.
Oh yeah.
That's all-time high.
So is it going to go down, or are we going to push up and
Well,
then
remember, we're
crash?
on the 5-minute chart, right? So what we're seeing
Oh,
here
right. Yeah.
on a 5-minute chart, we can't really tell what's it going to do over the next week. Who knows? We right now have butted up against a pretty strong market structure. This was a good support for the last day and a half to, well, this week. This is all this week. November 30th. That was the last time it was below this. So on the 5-minute chart, this might be all we get. And it is silver. And I kind of feel like it's not going to be nearly as bad. I think there's going to be a lot of people that go and buy, they go and sell a bunch of stuff, and they sell stocks and cryptos and even their gold and silver stocks. They're going to sell it off, and they're going to create that effect of fear. But you and I both know that if you're holding metals now, like if you've got the metals in your hand and there's a crisis, the last thing you're going to do, because you're not of that mentality to go and sell your metals. If you have the metals now, especially having lived through COVID, you probably aren't going to go and sell your metals. If you are, please, 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 please go out the back door, because that's embarrassing. Who knows? Silver, if we take a look at the daily chart, we technically could come back and retest these all-time highs way down here. It's not that big of a deal. It's
But
$3.
there's no opportunity here for a triple top because we've already passed that.
Yeah,
The
that's
only
right.
place there is a triple top is at the current all-time high.
Right, and it's after the second top that we see that deeper dip. We didn't create a new low here. So you are right. We are not experiencing a reversal here. However, in the meantime, this jump up could very well be our D extension, and we need to find C. And C, most logically, will be $54 US.
Where's A?
A would technically be here simply because that D extension was confirmed. That's a solid new high. This was tempting the previous all-time high.
Yeah.
Sorry, not then. Back in here. This was the previous all-time high, $45. Yeah. So we went ahead and above that, but now we have to look at this from a daily perspective. Now we can start to zoom in. We couldn't really zoom in before to determine where are we headed. But now that we actually have a benchmark, we kind of know where the market makers are pushing the button or not. We know now the pivot point. And so this pivot point makes the most sense to me. So if you're looking at getting some silver, you might dollar cost average your way down. Remember, most of the money is made in these areas, and you don't know where they are. And so you do money management to increase the amount you're buying as the price goes down. Where we're at right.
Be a good idea, because I'm considering taking a little bit of gold and trading it in for silver. This sort of indicates that I would be foolish to do it now.
Well, hang on. Gold.
Or would I?
Gold.
I think now is the time to do it because the silver gold ratio is 73-1.
Right. Now, that's the thing. You don't want to necessarily look at, as I was just going to thank you, Ian, by the way. I don't mean to finish you off and then barrel over top. But exactly that. You don't want to look at the price of these metals in accordance to the fiat much anymore. You're doing it for reference, but don't think of them in that value anymore, because now it's just about the ratio. Because whatever the ratio is, that's where we know we're headed. We have no idea what price action we're headed. So with gold right now, though, I would say what Ian said. Like, you are at a high with silver. Now would be a great time to do that, because wherever it ends up, you will likely still be buying more. You would likely still go ahead and turn around and buy more gold than silver at that time. Or buy more gold than you had to buy to get that silver. Does that make sense? It's kind of confusing when we start operating outside of the fiat. It's like, what? How much is something worth then? Well,
Please repeat the gold to silver thing you just said.
let's draw some math out instead. Let's use the chalkboard, because I feel like I would do a better job that way.
What was the price of gold in 1979, or at its peak, 80?
Could you look that up, Ian? I'm gonna get the chalkboard going here.
Yeah, my trading view isn't working.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just
That's-
quickly look.
That's fine.
I'll quickly grab it. Gold in 1980.
At its peak back then. Yep.
Weekly chart. That's 2011. At its peak, it was 850.
So silver was $48. That was a ratio of 17 to 1.
Wow.
You know,
17 to 1.
we've never seen that since.
Nope. Wow.
If we were to-
We did.
that was probably a true valuation in terms of the
Yes.
ratio between silver and gold.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Yeah.
So which means that in order to have that same valuation today, based on gold's present value, silver would have to be $247.
Yep.
I'll take that.
247. Amazing. Okay, so let's say today, let's do the ratios again. If you have an ounce of gold right now, it's going to take you, what was it, 73 you said?
73.
Oh, it's 73.
73 ounces of silver. Right now, silver prices are here. They just finished doing this. So even if the price goes down like this at 173, 1 to 73 now, when it goes down and it retraces off of that previous all-time high, right? Because that's what it was that double top. If it comes back and tests this, I don't think that the silver is going to be worth less than it is today. I think that it will likely be worth more than it is today, even though the price goes down, because at this point here, you would probably only need 70 ounces of silver to get that same ounce of gold. Now, while the price went down, you saved on silver, not dollars. 3 ounces is what? That's $210 right now.
Okay.
Yep. Audrey Lynn is just, I can see whenever we talk about gold and silver, her wheels are just turning, because she's got a pretty good relationship with a private dealer in town. So she's thinking, how can she double dip this stuff? I love it.
Well, he offered me 67 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold 3
Right.
days ago. So that's why I'm asking.
When you say private dealer, you're talking about Rocky Mountain House?
Yeah, yeah, that Beck's business.
Oh, the Bex guy. Okay, very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yep.
Now, Audrey Lynn, just a quick question. I'm taking it based on your reaction that now that made more sense.
Well, yes, because sometimes I hear you backwards, and I just wanted to make sure that it was, this much silver for one piece of gold.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if we watch the price of gold, which should also increase, then silver and to maintain that same ratio, silver. If gold went to 10,000, silver would be at that ratio,
Yeah.
500 plus
Yeah.
an ounce.
Yeah. I concur. I concur. Okay, well, that's what I wanted to cover today. I wanted to show you just how we can look at these markets with objectivism and recognizing that yes, we're at these all-time highs. We can expect some pullback on these things, but the focus for today was to really show how those pivot points. We didn't really dive back into how pivot points can occur in the trend, but there are enough examples out there. Let's go to the daily chart on I think we have that marked out on the silver here we go.
So, do you find that pivot points are one of the predominant indicators for you?
There are too many points to consider it not a coincidence.
Okay.
If it was a coincidence, we would see these turning points occur more randomly.
Okay.
But they seem to occur more frequently around those areas.
Very good.
And that's why we like to use those pivot points as market orders, right? We're going to place an order at this pivot point because that's the highest likelihood of. And some people, what they do is that they actually go under. So if the pivot point is, let's actually do that. Let's go to the 2-hour chart here, and I'll show you what they would do. So what they'll do is, say for instance, when it was up here, if they wanted to go long again, they would say, okay, well, let's look at this pivot point, this low here. What they'll do is that they will simply trade up to the next pivot point, and that will be their entry. They're not going to enter right here because it might not get that far, but this is where they'll enter and start to dollar cost average if it goes down. Again, respectful of margins and all that leverage and all that stuff, of course. Money management is something that should be talked about for a week before anybody actually goes ahead and pushes a button on a trading account. That's what I think.
Wonderful.
Quickly look at some of the other altcoins there. ADA, look at that low S3 support, and it is actually already going up and testing S1, 2 pivot points up. So doesn't really mean much yet. My indicator right now on the barometer, so to speak, of altcoins is, of course, Bitcoin dominance. And Bitcoin dominance is now looking like it's hit a pivot point. Look at how that has happened in the past. This area seems to have some resistance. I think that we're going to, I think we're going to know by the end of the week whether or not this is going to press downwards. If we see another high, it still doesn't really mean much because this is the previous high. That's the 61%. Well, 60%, 60.2 technically. I would say that has a little bit of stray to it here. Let me just grab that and move it so that we have more of the pivot point intersecting. Yeah, 60%-ish. That's the big metric. Today and yesterday, gold hasn't really gained or lost against Bitcoin at the moment. This is total market cap, excluding the two big boys, Bitcoin and Ethereum. We do see major support here. We actually have a double bottom at the moment. You know, we don't count this as a trend indicator because it's a banker's candle. That was the big day of the dark night of the soul for most crypto people, where they lost, like, the one guy I was telling you about, Morad, he lost like $25 million or something like that. Of course, it doesn't matter to him because hundreds of millions of dollars to spare. But this is where, right now, this is an indicator that we're going to be coming back up again. Now, we could be testing. I do have this marked. Where we are below, we will be coming back to test this pivot point here. You know, it's a trend line, but it's also a pivot point because the price action seems to find that to be very supportive. But now we're below it. So technically, it could continue to, we could be still trending upwards, but this pivot point will likely give us some resistance to just shooting up to the top. What else? US markets on the daily chart. All of it, dangerous accumulation. Look at how it was. See, this is exactly what I was talking about with Ethereum. This was provided, that trend line was a pivot point for the bears. Now it's become a pivot point for the bulls, where the bulls just can't seem to get above it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for market analysis. Unless anybody's got questions or comments.
So I do have a question about Bitcoin and also about midnight.
Sure.
I'd like to just bring that midnight back in just to keep interest alive in it, wake it up a little bit. And Bitcoin looks like it went up a little bit today. And it looks like it's consolidating. Like, you know,
right now it is consolidating, but it is at a higher range of the consolidation we've been seeing over the last week or so. Yeah.
So what does it look like to you as far as what do you see the trends? It looks like, you know, people aren't investing in Bitcoin, but are investing in gold and silver or any kind of, or what are your thoughts about that, Paul, about where's the money going?
The money's going into tech. There are in North America, there are over 1,600 data facilities that have been approved for construction. 2,400 data facilities.
Actually,
right
somebody I know is working in building a data.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who it was, but they were talking about it. I thought it was in Texas. I'm not sure where it was.
I know that I'm just looking up here. I know I said I was going to look up to see which exchanges are going to be carrying midnight, and I'm just looking up to see.
That'd be good to know.
All right, so the night token will become available December 8th.
Oh, okay. And that's what, Monday?
That is, that's the Monday.
What do you mean by that?
The night token was that token that we were mining there with that scavenger hunt. Night is a privacy token, privacy layer that is being brought forward to help with interoperability of smart contracts between multiple chains. So if I have ADA and someone has Polygon, we don't even have to use a DEX to do business with each other. Midnight will be privatizing the smart contracts. So basically the same layer of privacy that we have over the transactions. Now that's going to apply to the parameters of the smart contracts as well. And let me just look here. Good question. Thanks for getting me to move back there on that. I'm just looking up to see. There's an article on TradingView.
But what if someone doesn't have night?
To buy night.
Well, yeah, you can either buy it, or there's also a period of time. This in the launch sequence, they were saying that there's a period of time where there's going to be another scavenger hunt, so we can start our computers up and do some more mining during that time. This article doesn't say which exchanges. Hang on, let me keep looking. It looks.
I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to
So tomorrow,
yeah,
for sure.
I'll wait. You go ahead. I'll wait.
No. I can wait. I can
Oh,
wait. I didn't know if
okay.
it would take longer.
Okay, so Night token will be available to swap from ADA in our wallets.
Oh,
We don't even have to go to an exchange.
oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
From our wallets, so we could do like Lace.
Yeah.
Their address. I mean, can we do it privately? I think that's the word you're supposed to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll automatically be privately done through your Lace.
Okay. So, oh, that'd be great. And then how do we buy it? We just buy it from them, or
So what you'll do,
so
yeah,
silly.
what you'll do, great. This is awesome. Good question. I love it. I'm going to go back to the chalkboard because then I get to practice.
Yeah, practice, and then we can do it tomorrow again.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at Audrey Lynn. She's menting along or experiencing. Is
She's
she mentoring or
experimenting, yes.
Experiencing.
Stacking functions.
Stacking what?
Functions.
Functions.
Function. Stacking function. I
Used
don't
to be
think
called
I've never seen
multitasking.
that happen. Well, I have with the birds and the bees, but I don't know with anything else.
Remember, we got the bridge, right? Oh,
All right. The bridge.
All right. So you got the dollars over here in
Okay.
Canada or the US. And then over here, you've got your ADA. Well, you know what? Let's go to the kingdom. Queendom. They're all queens here. Okay. This bridge is going to be your exchange.
Okay.
Whatever the exchange is, up in Canada here, we've got NDAX. You can use Virgo. Down in the States, Gemini, KuCoin, Kraken. Don't recommend Coinbase just because they make it difficult for you to move money into the private realm from their platform. But you'll use the exchange to get ADA. So the dollars will become ADA on the exchange. Then
Okay.
you're going to take that ADA and you're going to put it over into Lace or Yoroi or Eternal or whatever wallet it is that you have.
I want the Eternal wallet. I like that name.
Yeah,
I like dealing in the Eternal.
me too. Yoroi, I think I'm spelling that right. These wallets, you'll be able to swap. And so the swap is the term that they're using to switch. You're basically swapping contracts. So you're going from an ADA contract into a night contract. And in return for entering that night contract, they will give you tokens.
And those are midnight.
That's right. And guess
Okay.
what? So there's midnight, and then just so you have like one, and then there's how we have in dollars we have cents.
Yeah.
So this is one night, right?
Oh, I see.
Guess what the increments are called? By the way,
Daybreak.
there are 9 zeros. There are 9
Wow.
decimal points to this currency.
So that's 6.
So that's a million increments.
Oh, okay. So where's the 9? It looks like 6 to me.
Oh, sorry. Did I say 9? I meant 6.
Oh, okay. 6.
Yep.
Okay.
But if you can have 6 nines, that makes it a million
Yeah.
for that for each token, right?
Wow. Okay.
So the token is called night. Guess what these are called? One night is made up of 1 million stars.
Oh, I like that. But it appeals to it appeals to the aesthetic of
Yes.
that. Yeah. Oh, wow.
So that's coming out on December 8th, and people can swap directly inside their Lace Eternal or Yoroi wallet. Well, I would imagine other ones. There's Vesper. They've got a swapper on there as well. Materium, I think is what it's called. There are lots of different wallets you can use to swap.
Yeah, I didn't get any.
Yeah, no. I don't know
So
what
how
happened
can Audrey get in? How
that
can,
we were mining. What's up, Maureen?
no, I was just wondering how Audrey's going to get into the whole thing. I'm interested in how new people are going to get in.
Oh, Audrey, she's old hat at this. She's been trading for a couple of years.
Okay, so she doesn't have to.
Yep.
We don't have to go through that. Okay, so then Monday it would be important to be on the call because then would it be a good idea then that we could.
Yeah, why don't we say market analysis on Monday?
Okay.
Market analysis on Monday. We'll conduct a swap together.
Okay, we do have that call at 9, but I could get off at 10 instead of 10:30. I hate it. Mondays, every call is so supportive and just, and then we hold that reawaken space, which is, that silence.
Yeah.
And it takes so long to do it by yourself, So I love any help I can get.
Yeah.
And it makes it more fun. I don't want to do anything alone. I really don't. It's so boring. It's very boring. What fun is there in that? Well, I like to be alone, but to do, I like to do with others. Let me put it that way.
It's a good environment to be in.
Yeah. Okay. So Monday, I'll be here about
Monday?
10. If
Okay.
that's okay. Would that be okay?
Of course, it's okay. That's what
All right.
that's what market
So
analysis
good
is
to
for.
see you guys. Audrey's.
Indeed.
The Audrey the duos. Good to see you guys. And look at Audrey with her matching glasses.
Yeah, huh?
Your
Purple shirt.
your glasses match your shirt. Oh, okay. Now, much more business-like.
Those are
Not
different-
the fashion icon.
Audrey is really good. She's very well versed in the ability to switch identifiers on the fly.
Well, yeah, I just saw that. She
Yep.
I have different
Audrey the
hats.
Superwoman. I don't know. And Audrey Lynn wears earrings while she cooks. I don't know about that. That's
They're
great.
more like, I think they're hoops, aren't they? Yeah, you got full on hoops.
What now? Hoops of what? Are they gold or? You got to be careful what you wear.
I don't know. Her hands are messy right now. She's got her.
Silver.
Oh, okay.
Silver is my metal.
Silver is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to see you guys. See you Monday. See you guys. What is that about?
Oh, it's like the kingdom versus queendom.
I know it, you gals. Ooh, I don't like that.
See you, everybody.
See you later. Bye bye.
Au revoir.